Thank you very much to the organizing committee of the 14th LSU Arts Congress. My name is Gerardo Reyes Guzman, and this presentation was made in conjunction with Marco Escobar Acevedo and Perla Esperanza Rostro Hernandez. The name of the presentation is COVID-19 Deaths in Mexico, Exploratory Data Analysis until the 31st of December 2020. The objectives are to test the ARIMA model in the prediction of deaths in the next 31 days, to identify the waves by which COVID-19 have been striking on a daily and monthly basis, to analyze how the total number of deaths were distributed along the days of the week, to spot different indicators countrywide like the total number of deaths per 100,000 people and increments, to regress the number of deaths per 100,000 people with several socioeconomic variables to see if there is a correlation with one or more of them. Some facts of the literature: the number of deaths reported by the authorities in Mexico has been sharply criticized because they fail to register the real number of victims with accuracy. Thus, the real number of deaths is expected to be 2.8 times larger. The daily report of deaths does not reflect the real number of people who died that day. That means they include people who died some other day in the short past. A hypothesis states that COVID-19 was imported by the wealthy people who can afford to travel overseas or abroad. If that was true, deaths should be correlated with socioeconomic indicators like poverty, labor poverty, foreign direct investment, income per capita, and remittances, among others. We proved the ARIMA model in 5 occasions, and we succeeded in 3 of them, obtaining, for example, when we measure from the deaths from September 15 to October 15, an error of minus 0.93%. From October 15 to November 24, an error of minus 1.95%, and from November 24 to January 4th, an error of minus 2.96%. So, for example, in the first one, ARIMA model predicted 84,496 deaths, whereas the authorities reported later 85,285. In this chart, we see in the first y-axis daily deaths, in the second y-axis the days, and in the x-axis we find the number of deaths divided by 10,000. So, for example, it took 75 days to go from the first death to gather the first 10,000 deaths. So, to go from the 10,000 to the 20,000 deaths, it took 18 days, and to go from 20,000 to 30,000, 15 days, to go from 30,000 to 40,000, 17 days. So, for example, the highest peak in this first wave was reached as we went from the 20 to the 30,000, and it translated into an average daily deaths of 665. Then this curve smoothed until we see an average daily deaths of 367 as we went from 80,000 to 90,000. But then again, it went up, reaching its highest peak when deaths went from 160 to 170 in only 8 days, which translated into an average daily deaths of 1,249. That shows us 2 waves, one in summer and the second one in winter. Entities with the largest number of deaths until December the 31st were Ciudad de México, Estado de México, Veracruz, Puebla, Baja California, and Jalisco. June, July, and August were the most severe months in terms of deaths in 2020, but by the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, the number of cases increased sharply, followed by a similar growth in deaths. Fatality rate on a monthly basis have been declining due to the sudden increase of cases. Since fatality rate is the result of the ratio deaths divided by cases, the faster increase of cases in comparison with deaths made this indicator fall, going from 13% in June to 6% in December. Until the 31st of December, there was 125,807 people reported dead. 37% of this number took place between Tuesday and Wednesday. We correlated the number of deaths per 100,000 people in two times. First one in April the 30th and second one in December the 31st. In the first one, we found a positive correlation with health infrastructure, a negative correlation with remittances, and a positive correlation with homicides. In the second one, we found a positive correlation with labor poverty, a positive correlation with income labor per capita, a negative correlation with remittances, and a positive correlation with homicides. Entities with the largest number of deaths per 100,000 people were, until December the 31st, Ciudad de Mexico with 187, Baja California 151, Sonora, Sinaloa, Tabasco, as we can see in the chart. We correlated again the number of deaths per 100,000 people, but with the increment of deaths from June to December, and we found a negative correlation with health infrastructure and a positive correlation with remittances. Increments of deaths per 100,000 people from the 23rd of June until the 31st of December was San Luis Potosí with 26.8 times, Coahuila 24.9 times, Zacatecas 22 times, Nuevo León 20.4 times, Guanajuato 19 times, and Colima 15.4 times. Conclusions. ARIMA model proved to be efficient to predict the number of deaths for the next 31 days in 3 out of 5 tests. This could be useful in several areas like logistics, hospital capability, etc. Two waves of the pandemic could be identified, one in summer and the second one in winter. Tuesday and Wednesday proved to be the days where most deaths were reported. Ciudad de Mexico and the state of Mexico and Veracruz were the states with the highest number of deaths. Ciudad de Mexico, Baja California, and Sonora were the states with the highest tally in terms of deaths per 100,000 people. San Luis Potosí, Coahuila, Zacatecas were the states where COVID-19 deaths increased the most from the 23rd of June to the 31st of December 2020. The number of deaths per 100,000 people per entity is correlated with labor poverty, income labor per capita, remittances, and homicides. Thank you very much for your attention.